Charles Gomes, thanks for joining me today on Brite Cast. Let's start off with a little bit about yourself and about your businesses, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. My name is Charles Gomes. Most of my students call me Professor Charles.
Okay.
I'm a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Gracie Barra. Yeah. So I'm a co-owner of Gracie Barra Ashburn and Gracie Barra Leesburg. We are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school that focus on building kids, building a community, and just really making sure that we allow Jiu-Jitsu to be for everybody, right? So some schools are focused more on like the competition side of Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. Some schools are focused on, let's say, the self-defense side. Right. For me, Jiu-Jitsu is Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. So you could have a competitor in there and then just have, Joe Schmo like myself if I started mid-40s. Absolutely. Yeah, okay. So that's a quick recap of like who I am. I also own a Clear Path, which is a dog waste removal service as well. Okay. So again, I feel like I've lived so many lives, but I'm really excited to kind of just talk about like my whole experience and where I'm at today. Well, let's start from the beginning. Like, you came from Brazil. What area was that? And how old were you? Yeah. So I was 7 years old when I moved here to the United States from Brazil. Culture shock? A huge culture shock. Well, when I couldn't speak the language, right? So that's the first culture shock. But I was born in a really, really poor part of Brazil. Okay. So the Northeast, like the side that kind of sticks more towards Africa. Yeah. The state is called Ceará. Mm-hmm. Fortaleza is the capital of that state. I live about 30 minutes south of that on the beach. So it's it's a beautiful, like the beach is beautiful. A lot of people from the capital will come down and like surf because that's got good surfs. Mm-hmm. But then like you just do like a 180 turn and it's poverty, right? Yeah. So, I'm just no industry outside of like fishing. It's just a fishing town. Yeah. And just everyone's poor. Especially that during that time, it's gotten better now. But every time I go back, it's like a push and pull of the old world versus the new world. Okay, so they're developing some now. A little bit. Yeah. But the mindset's still the same. Right. So sometimes it's like frustrating because I'm like, why don't they just do this? Yeah. We'll get more money. But they've just been doing this for all these, centuries. So what made your family want to come to the U.S.? Just opportunity? So my mom met my stepdad in Brazil. Okay. And they got married. And, we moved out here in 1990. And like looking back, it's such a cool experience because I would have never known what America is. Mm-hmm. Like I would have been a fisherman today. Yeah. Because that's what everyone else does. Right. And you said the culture shock, huge, because we didn't have cars. We didn't have TVs. My house was literally four walls, a roof, and dirt floor. Oh, wow. Like literally dirt floor. There was no carpet. There was no cement. It was just dirt. So get on an airplane for the first time. That was crazy. Yeah. Like, how does this thing fly? Yeah. And then I remember running up and down the aisles while we're flying, right, as a little kid. Because how do you contain bumping into people, being that kid, being that kid, yeah. And then coming off the plane and driving from LAX to Orange County, California, seeing like all these cars. I'm like, what is going on? Like I've never seen these before, right? So it was a huge culture shock, but I'm so blessed to be here. Yeah. So did he live in LA and he just brought you guys? Yes. Yeah. So my stepdad was born in Hawaii. Okay. And then he moved to Southern California when he was 19 years old. Worked for corporate world, and then had a couple business trips and friends that he knew in Brazil, and then met my mom, and then myself and my two other brothers, we moved here in 1990. Yeah, that's got to be a huge shift as a kid. The language thing alone, like how did you do in school? How quickly did it take you to? I mean, you don't have an accent at all now. No, yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, so it was hard. Maybe a little more California than anything. Exactly. It was actually really hard because so my dad was the only one that spoke English. I mean, he spoke a little bit of Portuguese, but like fluently, not really. So my mom didn't speak English. Obviously, I'm the oldest, so I didn't speak English, and my siblings didn't either because they were just too young. So like making friends was super tough. right? And as a kid, especially like around 7, 8, 9 years old, like you're trying to fit in, especially into a new culture.
Yeah.
And you can't go and be like, hey, what's your name? Just because you don't speak the language. So most like my younger childhood, I was like very isolated because I couldn't go. A funny story is like in school, I had a huge crush on my my elementary school teacher.
Okay.
Mrs. Smith. You know, she was tall, blonde, right?
Yeah.
And so all the kids would play during recess. And then when you lined up, you know, one person sat in the front, then everyone else kind of like a straight line behind. And whoever the first person was would hold her hand to go into class. So I didn't even go play. I just went just straight to that front line.
That's funny. That's funny. So how many years do you think it took you to get fluent in English?
Probably about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years.
That's tough. Like trying to learn, like why you don't even understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, and then like, you know, you're going through like ESL, English as a second language, right? But I can remember like my proudest moment as a kid. So I didn't speak English, but every day all these kids would stand up and say things, and I didn't know what they were saying. Now they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh yeah.
Right? But I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the words were meant. And I remember my dad and I would work on like the saying, how to say it. And I remember like the first time I really remember like memorized it was such a huge accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
Like I felt almost like, okay, I'm just another kid in here, not an immigrant, right? I'm just another kid. Of course, I didn't know what the words meant at such a young age. And now I have just such profound like awe for what it stands for.
Yeah. I mean, that goes, we'll get into it later, but you know, going into the Navy and all that sort of stuff, that was like a pivotal part of your connection to America, you think?
I think so. Because I always wanted to just fit in, right? Especially with the other kids. I never had like a longing to go into the military until 9/11. You know, obviously everybody like my age range, 9/11 was a pivotal point for all our lives.
Yeah.
But I know the day after is when I decided I was going to join the United States Navy.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 17 years old.
Okay. So you're a little bit younger than me. I was 18. Yeah. I was first year of college.
Yeah. So I was a senior in high school when it happened.
Yeah. Which is a crazy day for everyone has their own. I can't remember what happened yesterday, but I can remember what happened that day.
Yeah. I remember I was on the couch. I was watching TV and I must have fell asleep on the couch that night because I woke up and I used to listen to the Steve Harvey morning show. Yeah. Right. Every morning right before school. And it's already happened because obviously it was the West Coast. And I just, I remember vividly, them talking about it. I'm like, what is going on? And then that's what kind of really transformed me. I was always very patriotic as a kid. And it's funny because, and not that it's political or not, but like my mom is pretty on the right. And then my father is pretty much on the left. Okay. Right.
Like a lot of Californians.
Like a lot of California, especially Hawaiians, right?
Yeah.
But most immigrants are more towards the right, just culturally. But it was pretty interesting because I've always had this longing for like, I love this country. And now as I've grown up, I'm so appreciative of all the opportunities I've had. And I believe there's no other country that could have given me this opportunity the way America has.
Yeah. I mean, the growth to be where you're at now, not just saying from 7 to 17, how much opportunity that you had just even back then.
Just educational wise.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. So did you start doing jiu-jitsu young or is this after Navy and we'll get into it later?
Actually,
did you do any martial arts?
I didn't do any martial arts. I ran, I did soccer, of course, but actually sophomore year, I tried my first jiu-jitsu class. Okay. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, let's go try this thing. I'm like, yeah, why not? And I absolutely hated it. Like, so I'm a small guy, I'm 5'6", 160 pounds. In high school, I probably was like 115 pounds.
Yeah, I was pretty small too.
And I remember going to this jiu-jitsu school. It was an MMA school. This guy fought in the UFC during the time. And I remember they didn't have uniform policy. right? So the guys just wore no shirts and shorts.
Staph infections.
Yeah, probably. And I remember this guy, I thought was an old guy. I'm like, this old guy, he was probably 40. So I'm just like, damn it. So I remember this guy got in side control and he put shoulder pressure on me. And I remember his chest hair like all over my face. Yeah. And I'm like, this is freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
So actually after that, I didn't do jiu-jitsu until I joined the Navy.
Okay.
And then my DC1, one of my bosses.
So you went straight from high school to the Navy, like were you in boot camp that summer?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so how tough was boot camp?
I was there Navy? 4th of July.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you didn't waste any time.
Nope. It was
your decision was made.
It was made on right after 9/11.
Wow. Did you have an idea before that to go to college or anything?
Yeah.
Or?
So I planned to go into college, but that moment decided my fate for me.
What made you choose the Navy?
So I actually I went to the Marine Corps.
Okay.
First, I went to their office because I wanted to fight, right? Obviously, there's so much emotion during that time frame. I wanted to fight. And then I remember there was nobody there. So then I went next door. Okay. And then I was like, okay, like they had a firefighting program and I've always wanted to be a firefighter.
Okay. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. So I was like, I can do firefighting and, serve my country at the same time. So I was actually a damage controlman, shipboard firefighter on the USS John C. Stennis,
is that like a huge...
Which is an aircraft carrier.
Okay.
Yeah. 5,000 people on the ship. And so whatever you need, it's there. Grocery store, medical, everything is there.
Was that another culture shock going into the military, or were you just so psyched about serving the country?
I was just so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited. And it's, for me, like, I think if you're not going out of high school, if you're not going straight to a 4-year college, like you should go and serve.
Yeah.
That's my position.
I think I wish I would have. Maybe I went straight into 4 years. So exactly. I guess technically I fit in your brackets.
So maybe not necessarily like the military, but they should serve, right? The Peace Corps or some kind of service, because it builds you up and it makes you a man a little bit faster or a woman a little bit faster. And for me, like, I got to grow up really fast because, again, you're 18 years old and you're speaking with people that are in their 30s. Obviously, college kids are kind of hanging out with college kids,
right?
Where we're hanging out with more older people and trying to learn through their processes as well.
So what do you think of the main, is it discipline, or what's the main things that kind of changed by going into the military?
Well, I think it's responsibility.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you imagine as a college kid, your responsibilities are, get good grades, and
that's pretty much
it.
Yeah.
Where now we have our fellow men and women that are next to us that are relying on you to do your job for their safety and for safety of our nation.
Yeah. So how was it did you ever get claustrophobic being on a boat for a long time?
No.
So big, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
it's so big.
Feel like that.
We did sleep in things called coffins.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So there's 3 different bunk beds, but they're pretty small.
Yeah.
Right. So I made sure I always got the top bunk because I didn't want anybody stepping on my bunk on the way up.
So were you deployed?
I was.
Yep. How many times?
I was deployed 1 time.
Okay.
During Operation Freedom.
Okay. Was that in the
Gulf?
The Gulf, yeah. How was that? Was it intense?
It was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. We went to some great countries as well. A lot of our things were obviously away from shore, right? So because we have aircraft carriers, so they're planes and they're dropping bombs and things like that. But we got to see different cultures, right? Especially during this time where,
we're being told that
those
cultures are bad.
Right. And then we went to a Muslim country, which is Malaysia. And it was an amazing experience. Everyone's everyone's so nice. The food was amazing.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts in perspective, right? So we went to Japan, we went to Australia, went to Malaysia. So we went to all these really cool countries, and everybody just, they wanted to hang out with us because we were Americans.
Really?
Which was not the picture that I thought in my head. Right. I'm like, everyone hates us. But really, they're just like everybody else.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's kind of, there's a part of media that says that, or at least, especially back then, they hate us and we hate them. And no, I don't hate anybody unless you killed my mom or something, right? Or killed, attacked our country. But otherwise, I like pretty much everyone. We can find some common ground somewhere.
Especially the guys and girls that were like our age. right? Because we're living the same experiences. Right. Unlike their grandparents or whatnot. So it was an amazing experience.
And you wouldn't, I mean, if you didn't come to America, you wouldn't have had that opportunity to go see all those cool places too.
I mean, I probably would have never left my city.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Which is really crazy.
What was your favorite place of all those places that you went to?
I would love to go back to Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously Jiu-Jitsu and then the samurais.
Yeah.
One day I would love to be able to, go have a katana being built specifically for me.
Nice.
But let's like $20,000, right? So
is it?
Yeah, it's like really expensive to get like a custom one that is done by like a professional, not just one of those that can just be done.
Do you know how to use it?
The katana? Yeah, just slice.
Just get some watermelons and go to town on it. So from your time in service, like, obviously discipline, structure, that plays a role into going into, BJJ, which, they could kind of both play off each other. If you started with BJJ, you might already be ready for some of that in the Navy. So, getting into your, into jiu-jitsu, how long were you in the Navy first, I guess, and then what road took you into doing BJJ?
Yeah. So I did, I served 4 years.
Okay.
And then I decided I wanted to get out and go to school and go to the fire academy.
Okay.
So I did that. And then basically in May 2006, I joined Gracie Barra, which is our organization. Mm-hmm. There was a school that was in my city. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu next month for 20 years.
Wow.
And haven't looked back. And it's been such a really cool experience.
So you went to school afterwards?
Yep, I went to school. Academy? I went to a fire academy.
Okay.
And then once I was in the fire academy and I was finished, I worked a couple firefighting jobs. And I was trying to apply for like Long Beach Fire, LA Fire, Orange County Fire. And that process takes a long time. So you're still working. So I started working in sales.
Okay.
And then from that point, like sales was starting to make me a little bit of money. So I'm like, I can wait or just start making money. So I started making money through sales, and I worked for a company called Dealer Socket, which was a automotive software company. Mm-hmm. And from there, Lamborghini headquarters was using their product for a customer relations management software system, and they needed somebody to run it, right? So they asked, "Hey, who's like in your team has really good customer experience, service, and who can run this?" And somebody gave my name, and I came out here back in 2012, and I worked for them for 8 years.
That's crazy. Yeah. So for the firefighting stuff, did you have to put out any big fires? Anything crazy that happened?
We did fire my first day on the job. We brought a lady back to life. She had a cardiac arrest. So I was more on the EMT side. Mm-hmm. So I went to school for the EMT and paramedic side. Okay. So there's like the EMT side, and then there's the truck side. The truck side is the guys that go on the roof. On fire, right? The EMTs are more of the medical.
Once they get the people out, then they're helping them do stuff.
Or they go in through the front door, not the top.
Even just that one experience, even though you didn't stay in it, it's still probably pretty rewarding to be able to save someone's life.
Oh yeah, and it really made me like that. In the military goes hand in hand, right? It's a paramilitary type of environment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all hanging out with each other. You're sleeping in a firehouse with 6, 7, 8 guys and all talking smack to each other and watching movies, cooking with each other. So again, it kind of reminded me of why I missed the military.
So what made you just want to go to school? Like you didn't think about staying longer? Did they make you sign up for another 4 years?
So yeah, so you would sign up for another 4 years. And then at that time I didn't know which way to go, right? Because if you're going to stay for 8, I might as well stay for 20. Yeah, I mean, because it's 8 years, right? So, because by that time, 2 more years is 10. You've done half the job, right? So I just wanted to be a firefighter, and then so that's something that really pushed me. And then I remember telling one of my supervisors I was going to leave, and the reaction was, "Hey, like you're going to regret it. Like you're not going to." you're not going to be much when you get out. Like you need this service, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny, like, then I go work for Lamborghini headquarters, like one of the biggest companies in the world. And they're like, oh, you're doing an awesome job. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. I appreciate
well, you might not get the same sort of thrill out of it. But I mean, if you're at least doing BJJ, then you would have that kind of stuff going on too. Yep. So they hired you on like, so I do high level. That would be like, you know, a high level person or a Salesforce person going into a company and be like, I already know how to do all this, but they don't manage it properly. And I think there is, you know, like I was saying earlier, I think there's a place for that. And that's where I'm trying to like position myself as like the local, you know, high level expert / CRM automation kind of guy. Because most mid or small companies don't have anyone that is that, you know, well known. And even Lamborghini didn't.
Well, it's funny. So Lamborghini, like if you were to call their 1-800 number, it literally, there was no number. I mean, there was a number, but like nobody picked it up. And it was just like a number in the ether. Like that was it. And their customer relations management database was based in Excel sheet.
Wow.
So like this is a huge known company. But when I joined, there was 10 of us that ran all the Americas.
Wow.
So from like the CEO to finance to sales, after sales, every position, there's 10 people that ran all the Americas. So really we're like a startup company with a big name.
Yeah. Huge name.
So that's where I learned so much about business though, because I can just walk into the CEO's office and I'm like, hey, and you get complete feedback right away.
Yeah.
Right. So if you need something in sales, you turn around to the guy that's next to you because he's right there. I'm like, hey, I need this.
Instead of like a huge bureaucracy like a lot of other companies. I wouldn't think it was that small. Was the European division like a lot bigger?
Well, but so coming off the 2008 crisis, right? They did really bad in fire sales. So they're just trying to build it up a little bit more. Yeah. But now, you know, they're probably 35. They're probably selling 600 cars in the U.S. markets, which is Canada, U.S., and Mexico and Brazil. Yeah. Now they're probably 3,500, 4,000 cars being sold.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
In the U.S. market.
Yeah. I don't have one yet. So when you started, you got back from firefighting, you went to Lamborghini. Where did you start doing jiu-jitsu in that?
So I was at the whole time, right? So I got out of the Navy, like literally day one. I got out. I looked for a jiu-jitsu school. Okay, and it was Gracie Barra. Yeah, and so I've been doing this ever since. When I moved out here to Virginia in 2012 to work for Lamborghini, there was no GB school, and by that time I was a brown belt already. And I was like, man, like I there's a video of me crying, which I'm not an emotional guy at all. But I remember it was when I received my brown belt and I knew I was leaving Southern California. Yeah. I was like, man, there's no GB school. Like all I've ever known was GB. Yeah. Which is Gracie.
So give a little background on GB. So most people call it Gracie Barra.
Yeah, Barra.
Yeah, but it's Barra. Yeah. So I would be that stupid guy like, oh, it's Gracie Barra.
No. Yeah. So like the R's are like H's. Okay. Like Holz Gracie or Henzo Gracie. Yeah. Right. It's has an R, but it starts with a H or pronounces like an H. Yeah. So Gracie Barra is the biggest jiu-jitsu school in the world. So we have probably around 1,300 schools worldwide. This year we turned 40 years old. Okay. And
is that by Henzo or one of the?
It's Carlos Gracie Jr. Carlos Gracie Jr. He's basically the founder of the IBJJF, which is like the biggest jiu-jitsu tournaments. Yeah. He's in charge of obviously Gracie Barra. And so he's the youngest son of Master Grand Carlos Sr.
Is he the one that started everything?
He's the first one that started it.
Okay. So give a little history lesson. Like how did jiu-jitsu come about? Like when did it start? You know, obviously it was in Brazil, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, they say the origin starts in India with the monks. We're not too sure about that, but that's what they say. It kind of went to Japan, and the Japanese samurai culture really kind of took hold of it. So we think of jiu-jitsu as like the ground fighting, but jiu-jitsu in Japan during like the Imperial's days, jiu-jitsu kind of just meant like gym or like training center.
Okay.
So it wasn't meant specifically for ground fighting.
Right.
So some jiu-jitsu gyms were sword fighting.
Okay.
Right. Some jiu-jitsu gyms were ground fighting. Some jiu-jitsu gyms were throws or judo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's a guy named Maetsu Maeda. He is what today would be like an ambassador. He came here to the U.S. and him and his colleagues, he didn't, but his colleagues taught President Roosevelt jiu-jitsu.
Really?
And taught his daughter jiu-jitsu.
Huh.
And it's kind of cool because President Roosevelt's daughter, it was during like the first original feminist movement. So during that time, she's learning jiu-jitsu, like which you wouldn't think that would be a thing in the early, in that time frame.
Yeah.
So what happened was Maetsu Maeda, he loved fighting. Like basically today's UFC, that's what he loved to do.
Okay.
But in Japan, during the Kodokan, which is like their main training center, they're not allowed to fight for money. They can only fight for honor.
Okay.
And if they find out that you're fighting for money, you get kicked out, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's an ambassador for Japan and for judo. So when he came here, he started doing these fights, but he'd call it jiu-jitsu. So he'd call himself as a jiu-jitsu fighter, not a judo fighter.
Okay.
Because if it got back that he was a judo fighter, they would kind of find out who he was and then he'd get kicked out.
Okay.
So he basically went throughout the U.S. fighting different people. He loved alcohol and he loved women. So that's kind of...
So it's like 1910s, 1920s,
yep, 1910s,
like that?
1920s.
Yeah. Okay.
So as he went to Cuba, stayed there for a long time, fought there for a long time. And then during this time, there's a huge migration of Japanese immigrants going to Brazil. Because in the soil in the northern part of Brazil is very comparable to the Japanese soil.
Okay.
So for harvesting rice. Right. So there's a huge migration. So he went down there to be part of this progress. So outside of Japan, actually, São Paulo, which is a city in Brazil, has the highest concentrations of Japanese outside of Japan.
Interesting.
So he met Gaston Gracie, which is Carlos Gracie's senior's dad, and he kind of helped him out. And then he kind of taught Carlos Gracie Jr., senior. And then that's kind of basically where we're at as of today.
I did not know that. Thanks for the little history lesson.
Absolutely.
For sure. I mean, I know I know what arm bars are and, rear naked chokes and stuff like that just from watching UFC the past maybe, 10 years. Sure. But it's like, if my wife goes out of town, I'm definitely watching UFC on the couch by myself without having to, make pause for anything or watch a movie like we normally do. So what was the progress like from brown belt to black belt if there wasn't Gracie Barra here? Yeah,
so that's interesting. So I came and I started training at a different school. Mm-hmm. And
is there big differences in style?
Not really. I mean, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Right? It's just different marketing aspect of it, I guess. Right. But I've only known Gracie Barra. So when I joined the school, this specific school at that time here, I remember telling them, hey, like, I'm going to get promoted as a black belt eventually under Gracie Barra. I'm always going to compete under Gracie Barra. I just want to kind of make sure that we're like on the same page.
Yeah.
And I always help them, right? So during tournaments, I'd always go coach students because I still want to be part of the community, right? Mm-hmm. But I just, my loyalty was to Gracie Barra, and it is to Gracie Barra. And I remember there was a tournament I competed at. I went to the finals after like 4 or 5 fights, and a couple of the owners came to me like, hey, you can't compete in the finals under a different school. I'm like, dude,
why does that matter?
Well, first of all, that's not the right time to have it. Like, I'm about to go fight.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work out. I went to a different school, and they're receptive. I used to help coach them all the time. And then I knew I always wanted to have a school. Mm-hmm. You just never think it's possible.
Right.
Like, dude, people are really going to pay me to teach them. Like, I'm not a world champion. Like, I don't have a name. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, who loves
that just loves jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And in 2019, I kind of started the process of opening up the school.
Are they like franchises, or do you have to be a black belt already with Gracie Barra in order to even get a franchise?
Yeah. So my professor is the head of the franchise here in the America, in the US. But I was a black belt by this time. Because once I got my black belt, I went back to California to receive it from my professor, Flavio Almeida.
Okay.
And so you can be a brown belt, but most schools
Is that the step before?
It's a step, the brown before. That step before the black. And
how many years is that to get even to brown?
From
white.
So white to black is on average about 10 years.
Okay.
So I got it in
That's if you're training multiple times a week.
Yeah, like at least twice a week. If you're like the standard student, 12 to 15 years is like the standard.
Yeah.
But I trained, twice a day, and I trained a lot. So I got my black belt in about 7 years.
Okay.
Which is pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I was training a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I got better at guitar because I was playing for 3 hours a day, back in the day. So obviously, it's all about most people don't have that time to be able to train that often. So 7 years, and then that was from white to your first black?
That was white to my first black.
Okay.
And so for me, when I opened up Gracie Barra, so I was talking with another business owner that owned the school, which was a school I was training at, and I was always trying to give him advice, right? Because Gracie Barra is so well known as far as our organizational skills, how to kind of build the school.
Yeah,
and I've been there from the opening of 2 of my professor's school, which does really well, and I was like, hey, do these moves, do these steps, and I promise you'll be successful. And I was, every 6 months, hey, Charles, can we sit down? Like, how do we do this? And I'd give him advice over and over and over. And then after a couple of years, just well, if he's not going to take it, I might as well I'll take my own advice.
Yeah.
So when we opened Gracie Barra June 2019, we had basically around the same amount of students as they had. And they were brand new.
Is it because of the name, really?
No, they were all just brand new students.
Okay.
But again, I was putting into practice what I was trying to tell them to do, right? So, and then unfortunately, 6-7 months later, COVID hits, but we had such a strong connection with our community that
was Ashburn the first?
Ashburn was my first location.
Okay.
But we did such a good job at connecting with our students that I think we probably lost, maybe 6 students during COVID.
And you have all age ranges. Is there anyone that tends to stay longer? Is it people that are older that are already interested, or is it young kids?
It's, most schools, it's a 60-40 split. That's a healthy split between 60% kids and 40% adults. Because the kids usually stay longer. Just by pure, age wise, they get less hurt, right? Things like that. But yeah, we just built such a strong connection within those first 8 months that by the time COVID hit, all our students basically stayed with us. We did the whole Zoom thing. That was tough. I was working so hard during those Zoom classes.
So they're just watching you?
Well, they're watching me and training at the same time.
Okay.
So we built mini dummies for them.
Okay.
Right. And I remember one time looking at the screen, we counted how many students trained that day during COVID. One day we had 126 students from the beginning of the day that were trained, which is a normal jiu-jitsu class for us. If you come into our school today, the average is, we were average between 100 and 120 students that are training daily.
Wow, that's huge. How big is the facility?
So, my Leesburg location is about 5,000 square feet.
Okay.
And that time it was about, both of them were about 5,000 square feet.
So they were still into it because they got nothing to do. Yeah. They're not going to school, and they actually have time to learn something. I did Taekwondo, went for a year or two when I was 6 or 7, but I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. I didn't also think if I keep on this train, maybe, it's going to give me more self-confidence or whatever. I think, if I had a kid now, I would, my good friend who were basically godparents of, they're going to put them in at 6 years old. But they're already wrestling all the time and stuff anyway.
Put them in jiu-jitsu. Find a good jiu-jitsu school and those like taekwondos and karates, like, I mean, they have its purpose, and I love those arts as well. For me, obviously, I'm going to be biased toward jiu-jitsu and all jiu-jitsu in general.
Well, it wasn't even a thing here. Not in, Prince William County area or even Fairfax. Like I didn't even hear of jiu-jitsu till like mid 90s maybe, and I'm an 80s kid. So all that was around, it was taekwondo and karate,
Yeah, it's interesting like how much it's grown through the UFC.
Yeah.
Right. And how much it's grown through like guys like Jocko and Joe Rogan and those guys, right? Like they've been such a huge ambassador for jiu-jitsu as a whole.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I talk about this with my students, specifically guys, like we're so delusional. Like 99% of us have never fought like a physical altercation with somebody.
Right.
But if we walk down the street and somebody bumps us, like we're going to put our chest up and be like, hey, let's go. Like what?
You don't know what they can do.
It's like, you said you play guitar, right? It's like you never play guitar and now they're saying, hey, there's 5,000 people on a stage, go play a song. What? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Right? The delusion, but we think we can fight until you actually get your hands like on somebody. Then that adrenaline dump hits, right? And that's one thing I love about jiu-jitsu is like it's hands-on.
Right.
You have to think, we call it the human chess. You got to start thinking through these processes during stressful situation, which helps not just like physically and mentally, but also helps in your daily life because when you go to work, guess what? No one's trying to choke you at work.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and if you can figure out all those complex movements and stuff, you can probably figure out whatever
stress.
it is.
Yeah.
You can probably be calmed when your boss is yelling at you or whatever. Yeah. I mean, the few people I know that are pretty high level, whether it's BJJ or Krav Maga or something like that, they're some of the coolest under pressure.
Well, and not just that though, like if you think about it, if you go to a jiu-jitsu tournament or a boxing tournament, even the taekwondo or karate, like no one's fighting there. I mean, like in the stands.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the person next to you knows.
Right. Exactly.
But you go to the bar and people are always trying to fight, even though they've never fought before.
Right.
I'm like,
or they fought in middle school or something.
Yeah.
Things are a lot different. I mean, yeah. So, so what was the process like from going to first to third degree? And how long did that take?
Yeah. So I'm a third degree black belt. Right. So once
is that the highest that there is?
No, which is
higher than that?
It's higher. So the founder, Carlos Gracie Jr., which is the son, which is the youngest son of the founder, he just received this past Saturday, his red belt, which is the highest belt you can get in jiu-jitsu.
Is that after third?
No, you got to go. You got seventh, yeah.
Really?
Seventh, and then.
So who can even grade someone at that point? Like, how many other people can you even say that you're better than that?
There's very, very few, right? So when you receive your stripes, it's based off of time frame. Mm-hmm. So after you receive your black belt, you get 3 years, and after 3 years, you receive your first degree. After 3 years, you receive your second degree. After 3 years, you receive your third degree. And then it goes 5, 5, 5, 7.
Okay. So,
right. So
you're in your 60s by the time you're at red if you get there?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be at least 68 years old minimum.
Wow. And how do you prove that? Is it just you stay consistent getting better?
So there's some controversy, right? And when it comes to jiu-jitsu as far as that, because some people will stop doing jiu-jitsu. Then 3 years they'll receive their stripe, but technically you're not supposed to receive it unless you're still active in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Meaning like competing, teaching, helping the jiu-jitsu grow.
Okay.
Right? And that's the goal of once you get your black belt, because yes, you still want to learn new moves, but it's how do I help the next generation grow and how do we expand jiu-jitsu for everybody? Yeah,
it's almost more philosophical at that point, as long as you're still active in the community and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense because, like just learning moves is not the same thing as, building a community while you're learning the moves all together and helping it expand and stuff. So how many locations? So you have 2 now.
We have 2.
How many are there in the U.S.? Do you know?
So in the U.S., we probably have 400 schools in the U.S.
Okay.
350 to 400 schools in the U.S.
Okay.
I was the second location here in Virginia. We have ourself, which is at GB Leesburg, or Gracie Barra Leesburg, Gracie Barra Ashburn are my two locations. Yep. We have our teammates at GB Chantilly. We have Gracie Barra Great Falls. We have Gracie Barra Stafford and Gracie Barra Fredericksburg.
Okay.
Right. So within the last couple of years, we were able to grow.
Yeah.
Right. 6 schools, and hopefully expanding even more.
So learning what exactly did you learn to get people in there that the other business wasn't doing? Is it marketing stuff?
I think, and as you know, like as a marketer, right, we think people are just going to come to us, and that's just not the reality of it.
Yeah.
Like you have to spend money, right? Like you have to have somebody dedicated to that job or to that project, whatever it is. So I think so one thing I always told that other instructor to do, I'm like, because I was already a black belt, I was a paying student, and then he would always ask, hey, can you teach for me today? Which is fine because, again, the goal as a black belt is to kind of expand jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
So I never had an issue of teaching. And I'm not expecting money because that's not the goal. You know, I was working at Lamborghini. I don't need, whatever, $10 to $12 an hour, whatever it is. So, and I was told, I'm like, dude, you got to hire a black belt that's just responsible just for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're there or not there, like that's their job. And just like most businesses, like you can't because you don't have the money.
Right.
But you don't have the money, so you can't. Right. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Right. But how many more classes could you do if you didn't have to have someone sub in for you all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but he was also like he had another W-2 job.
Oh.
Right. So
yeah.
So it was like a second job for them, but I told him you have to find somebody that just manages the jiu-jitsu. That way the students knows who to go to and not just students that are upper level that can just help you out. Right. So, just having dedicated people, marketing, right. You have to market. I know nobody likes to spend money.
Yeah.
But you're not marketing for today.
Right.
You're marketing for next month.
Yeah.
You're marketing for 2 months from now. And I think a lot of people, when they use different marketing companies, they spend $1,500 and it doesn't work for 1 month and then they stop.
It takes a long time just for Facebook algorithms to understand what it is you're selling, finding your ideal. Yep. It's going to take 2 or 3 months, but you need to have that money ready to build it out. And then you're just, kind of rinse and repeat once you've found all that, but it takes quite a while. Yeah. I mean, I've run into that early with people and I'm like, if you don't have 3 to 6 months to spend on this, just wait until you do.
Yeah. And not just that, even if you don't, like at the end of the day, like if you're not marketing, somebody else is, and that means their brand's going to be in front.
Right.
So
you started out like immediately hiring somebody, or you were the coach for a while and then you brought somebody else on to?
So because I was working full time at that time. Yeah. Right. So my business partner, Professor Dana, kind of ran like the back end stuff.
Yeah.
We hired a black belt right away. They kind of ran they taught all the classes and things like that. And then as we kind of got bigger, then I decided, oh man, like the school's getting so big, I need to leave my corporate world.
Yeah.
Because the school needs me now.
That's a cool thing to have growing on the side, taking a risk, but then seeing that principle actually worked. Yeah. Sometimes you can have an idea in your head, but it's not always going to work out for you, but that's cool. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things that I've seen with other people that I know that own, any kind of gym, regardless of what it is, like client retention is a big piece of it. So like, how do you get people to stay, or is it like kind of have different packages that they're?
Yeah. I mean, for us, like we want people that want to be there. So,
but how do you convince someone that wants to be there to want to be there?
So the way I look at jiu-jitsu is if you want to open a jiu-jitsu school, you'll get 60 students. You'll get 50 students because there's 50 people that want that service.
Yeah.
Right. And you could do this for whatever you want, like any service out there. There are 50 people that just want that service. And if the issue is like, how do you go from 50 to 100?
Right.
That's a harder process. Mm-hmm. How do you go from 100 to 200? Like you need to have SOPs in place, right? From 200 to 400, right? That is, you have to work. That's people aren't just going to come in.
Right.
That's where marketing comes in, right? I was talking to a buddy of mine because I told you I own a Clear Path, which is a dog waste removal company.
Yeah.
And it's a new business for me. And I've signed up so many more students to train jiu-jitsu than I've done dog waste removal this month. And I'm like, how is it easier for me to choke people out than to pick up dog waste? But it's the process, right?
Yeah.
And you just got to keep believing in it.
Yeah. And once you have the fundamentals of any business, you just kind of rinse and repeat and do, the different thing. I mean, obviously dog waste removal is a little bit different. How did you decide to do that along with all the other stuff you're doing?
Yeah. So my dog, April 6th, 2025, Petey, he was a beagle. He passed away from cancer. And man, just, like they say, it's man's best friend.
Yeah.
When you're sad, he's there. When you're mad, he's there. When, you have no one's, especially as business owners, like we don't get the opportunity to talk about our grievances with our students or our clients because that's not why they're there for.
Right.
They're there for the service. So I have so many students come to me with their problems. So I'm like a therapist at the side. Professor therapist on the side. But we as business owners, I really never have people to go to unless you want to go to like a professional.
Yeah. It can be kind of lonely.
It's very lonely.
Yeah.
Right. So PD was like PD was that for me. Like I come home when I'm upset or I'm sad or whatever it is, like I can talk to him. And so when he passed away, I was devastated, and I used to live in One Loudoun. So at the Vine apartments. And so there was no backyard, right? So every time I'd walk, like people never picked up dog waste.
Yeah.
They just leave it there. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? I don't want
in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I'm like, nobody wants to step on it. Like, I don't want my dog to step on it.
Right.
So I would always be picking it up anyways, like, because they would go and then I'd see it and then I'd pick it up. So once he passed away, there's times where you're just really less sad and lonely and you're like, man, like it's too soon to get a new dog.
Yeah.
Right. Cause you miss him for so much. But then I started just thinking about him and I'm like, okay, I still love walking with him. So just, I just went down a rabbit hole and I'm like, okay, well now it's pretty cool. Cause I get to, see him every single day. Right. Every time I open my computer to work on a Clear Path. I see him, I see his picture, I see his logo. And it's just been such a cool experience.
Kind of dog was it?
He was a beagle.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We just lost our Shih Tzu Maltese in January. She had like kidney failure. Yeah. It was rough, but she was 17 years old. Yeah. So she was my wife's dog, and then I adopted her once we got married and stuff. But, I had her for 10 years and it's like, I have dreams about her all the time the last few months. Like it's sad, but like, it's way too early to get another dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to do that or if or when. Like, it's so heartbreaking to lose them, even though they bring you so much joy. It's just like, I'm not going to be ready for a while.
Yeah. And I'm like, so I'm just in the phase now of like, okay, I'm okay with getting another one. Okay. So now I'm starting to look for another beagle. And, but like, you're like, I don't want to go through that heartache again,
Yeah. I mean, how old was he?
He was 9.
Okay.
He was still young.
Yeah. It's pretty young.
So, he's got a sister. She's not technically his sister, but, we got them together and they were in the same kennel together when I got them. And, but yeah, so it's, that's how a Clear Path came to be. And, it's cool. I like I said, I get to see him every single day. Yeah.
So you going through, is it residential or?
Yeah, we do residential. We do commercial HOAs and things like that. So obviously with HOA, like a lot of the homeowners are complaining, right? So residentials.
At least have like a backup. Tell people they're supposed to do it themselves, but inevitably there's going to be some assholes that don't do it. Yeah. So, have some sort of, I mean, that'd be nice. Even like parks and stuff might be a thing. Cause I walk around here a bunch and there's always someone's not picked up after their dog. So is that just mainly in Loudoun County right now?
Yeah, we're just doing Loudoun County.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Yes, just Loudoun County. So like if you're looking for dog waste removal, call us and we'll take care of it for you.
Especially in Loudoun County. So like, what do you think from jiu-jitsu could be applied to everybody's life? And like what you've learned and how you see other people grow and stuff. What are like some of the main things?
It's so cool because I talk about this story every single time. So I have a young kid. He's a sophomore in high school. He came to us because he was getting bullied at school, like pretty bad. And he was like chubby and overweight and like shoulders crunched over, just not very confident kid. Walks into our school. And the kid that was bullying him was in our class.
Oh.
So can you imagine but to be fair, like the kid started like 3 weeks prior. Okay. So like he was a new kid at our school, right? And I told the parent, like, we don't know them. They've been pretty respectful so far. So what do? There's no need to like beat around the bush, partner them up together.
Yeah.
Right. The kid beats up the bully.
Oh.
So you can't bully somebody that you just got beat up in class.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hate people when you're training with them all the time.
Right.
Right. Like
it's too intimate of
it's too like, and that's one thing you ask, like, what can you get out of life with jiu-jitsu? For me, like understanding humanity, you can get out of jiu-jitsu. Why? Because we got Republicans and we got Democrats that are training with each other.
Right.
Yeah, we might, jab at each other as far as like, jokes, but nobody cares.
But you're not hating each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's just jokes.
You got cops. You have any religious groups, right, are in our school. And at the end of the day, like we're all trying to struggle together.
Yeah.
We all bleed together sometimes, right? Because you get cuts. You might get a black eye on accident. One of the grossest things, right, especially people that don't know jiu-jitsu, is like you're sweating on top of each other.
Yeah.
And you get so close that you can smell their breath, right? Hopefully they've brushed their teeth, right? So you get so intimate with your training partners that it's really hard to dislike them.
Yeah.
And one thing that Master Carlos Gracie, or Grandmaster Carlos Gracie now talks about is he wants a jiu-jitsu school in every corner, in every city. Because the environment that we create at jiu-jitsu, if we can create that in our school, and then if we can expand that in our city, right, and then expand that within our county, our state, and our country, we're so much better off.
Well, you get like, I don't want to say gentler mindset because you know what damage you can cause if you need to get in a situation, but you have more understanding for other people and where they're at. And just another person. And
so during the holidays, because my Leesburg school is right across from Target, and Target gets crazy during the holidays. I remember this guy like opened up his window. He was supposed to go like, because there was cops like directing traffic because there's so many people going to Target and Costco. It's like one in, one out, like just follow the rules.
Right.
And the guy didn't want to follow, and he's like honking at me. I'm like, dude, why are you honking? Like, there's no reason. He's like flicking me off, rolls down his window, like, I'll kick your ass. And in my head, I'm like,
good luck.
I'm like, no, you won't. But like young me probably been like, let's go.
Yeah.
But this guy does not know how to fight.
Right. And most people that say that,
and there's 99%. There's no reason to, right? Yeah. Also, I can put it into perspective as well. Maybe just had a bad day.
Right.
Right. So, there's no reason for me to escalate it because again, I know my abilities to defend myself.
So do you think it provides more patience, especially the more like,
you have to, right. Because one thing about jiu-jitsu is like the world wants instant gratification.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu is the opposite.
Right.
You get beat down over and over and over, and then you win one time.
Yeah.
And then they learn, then they beat you over and over and over. So you get humbled really easily and really fast. So the people that have strong egos, they usually don't last.
Okay.
Because most people don't want to lose over and over and over.
Yeah.
Right. But once you're able to, like for me, when I lose, I get so excited.
Okay.
And then I'll put myself literally in the same position without them knowing. I'll put myself in the same exact position. I'm like, I want to see if it was a fluke.
Yeah.
Or were they just really that good with that position? Because that's how I learn. Right. So again, instant gratification is not there in jiu-jitsu, and it takes a long time to build. Right. Trial and error. Right. Trial and error.
So do you have is there a range of belts that work together, or is it, a brown belt's working with a white? How do you manage all that? Is it do you have beginner classes, and then they, once they get what's the next color? Yellow?
No. So it goes white, blue, purple, brown, and black.
I think I got to blue.
So we do have beginner classes, and usually in the beginner classes, I try to partner a senior most student with a junior most student.
Okay.
Because again, the senior most should be helping them get to the next level.
Right.
And in some ways, it's kind of a little bit selfish, right? Because we're giving up our time as upper belts to the new junior belt, but we need them to grow as fast as possible. So we have another training partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So hopefully it's we give our time now. So in 2 to 3 months, we have one more other person we can beat up.
Right. I mean, it's kind of the only way you're going to learn is if you're challenged. If it's just two people that don't know what they're doing.
I'm the blind leading the blind, right? So, but I do like to, so there's 3 different ways I like to teach. So at least when we're sparring or training is I like to put you with somebody that you could beat. That way you can work on your offense, right? I like to put somebody that's a good challenge for you. That way it can go either way, but it's just a struggle.
Yeah.
And then I usually like to put somebody as a round that you should lose to.
Okay.
That way you have to work on your defense.
So how many times in the class, when you're sparring, is it just 3 people that you would go against in any particular class?
No. So in a class of 20 or 25 or 30 students, I have a specific pattern. These 2 guys kind of work well together. They're the same size, same weight, same belt. And then these guys on this side might be same size, but they're white belts.
Right.
And this guy's a brown belt. Right. So I'll just kind of partner up. And some schools just say, hey, just pick whoever you want. I don't like that.
Yeah. You're also not getting that community of getting to know everybody.
Correct.
Yeah.
And starts getting clicks.
Yep.
Right. Even in jiu-jitsu, you start getting clicks and then you want to only train with your friend. No, because your friend knows what you're going to do.
Yep.
And that's not how you're going to grow. Right. You need challenges on a daily basis.
Is that just something you organically figured out by training a lot?
No, I mean, I try to follow my professor's strategies, right? Because he's ADCC silver medalist, and he's really high quality jiu-jitsu. So he does the same type of pattern, and I've kind of always learned from him on how to run a school and how to teach and how to be a mentor.
So at what point, is it always similar where once you get to a certain level, you kind of start helping out in a gym? Is that kind of the standard thing to become a teacher?
Some want to be more communal, right? Some students come in and they want to just train hard. But we have specific classes for specific people.
Yeah.
Right. So a brand new person can't go into my advanced class because it takes away from the advanced student.
Right.
Right. And also I can't have the advanced guy can always go to the fundamentals class because he can always work on his fundamentals. Right. So just different classes for different people. Some people do want to help and support. And it's funny because the parents that their kids train and they're training too, they love to help the kids class because my verbiage for the kids are different than the adults.
Okay.
So my 3 and 4-year-old class, right? My tiny champs. I'll say the backpack. The backpack is taking somebody's back control. Or if I put somebody in the guard where I wrap my legs around them, in that class I call it the jail. Right? You got to get out of jail.
Okay.
So my new students that joined that been watching, they're like, is this where I put him in jail? I was like, well, you put him in the guard. But mentally, right, it's easier for them to process the move.
Yeah.
Because we break it down in such smaller steps for the little kids than we do for the adults. Adults, we try to get more granular. For them, they're like, oh, this is the backpack position. I'm like, yeah, this is the backpack position.
So What's like your philosophy when it comes to coaching? Is it really just everyone's a little bit different? You know, do you have like specific rules of how our gyms work this way? Are there like things on the wall? Because I remember when I did Taekwondo, they're like, these are the rules, like the 10 commandments essentially of how this gym is run.
Yeah. So for us, our main philosophy of Gracie Barra, and that kind of, some schools are built just for like competition. We have some really good competition schools around us. And that's what they're focused on, right? The issue is when you focus on like that type of detail, you're going to get like former D1 athletes, right? That go to that school. But you got to think about like the population, like how much influence are you going to be able to have in that group versus another group?
Right.
So old school, once you got promoted, one of my guys just got promoted to his blue belt yesterday because he's heading out to the Air Force. You'd have 2 lines, and then you'd walk down the middle. People would take their belts off, and then it'd smack you on the back, right? Like a gauntlet. Mm-hmm. So that was very big in jiu-jitsu for a long time. And I'm not sure where it came from, but
some rite of passage.
A rite of passage, right? Hazing, and not necessarily in a negative stance, but for us, like we don't do that. Like for us, it's about respect. Because can you imagine doing that and a mom with a 3-year-old walks in and wants her son or daughter to join jiu-jitsu, and that's the first picture that they see. Right. So for us, it's when we talk about jiu-jitsu for everybody, that's what we want, right? We want the moms, right? We want the kids, we want the dads, the husbands to train as a family unit. Because, I mean, as a parent, right? Most parents, when they do things, they don't really have quality time with their kids anymore.
Right.
They're moving from here to the grocery store. They'll talk to them during those rides. Here to Target, here to like activities.
Yep.
So for us, when the families have a family environment, all cell phones go away, right? You're only focusing. So like our parents and kids class is very popular on Saturdays because they train with their kid for an hour.
That's cool.
No distraction. They can focus because the kids, I remember as a kid, like I wanted every single toy possible.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks later, I wanted different toys.
Yep.
But these experiences are what our kids are going to remember.
And it gives them something in common to have with their parents, which can be very difficult. They're off doing their jobs and stuff. I'm in school. We don't really have that much to discuss. But if you're like, oh, how'd you get that armbar?
Yeah.
Then it could be, a cool thing for them to have in common.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy, right? Is jiu-jitsu for everybody. And I know some really, really, really like high level jiu-jitsu guys and girls that teach and own schools. And then I look at their schools, both within Gracie Barra and without Gracie and not Gracie Barra, and they have half the amount of students that I have. And I'm like, how is that possible? Right? Like I'm not a big name in jiu-jitsu. I've never won any major tournament. I've won tournaments, but not major, the Worlds or the Brasileiros or the Pan American Games, right? But the culture, right, that we keep is what's going to invite people to come want to do. And I think I have a bigger influence in a positive atmosphere.
Well, and then especially with the family stuff too, like if they had a good experience and they know other parents, and their kids might be struggling in school with a bully or something, it might be a great opportunity and easy referral.
Yep.
Like, hey, it's changed the dynamic at school by putting him in here or putting her in here. Yep. That makes a big difference. And like once you have that good rapport, things do start to grow organically.
Yep, absolutely.
So what do you see like as the future? You have 2 schools. Do you want more? Do you want to just grow the ones that you have now? Yeah.
So, I mean, the goal is to get to about 500 students per school.
Okay.
Which is a big academy.
Yeah, it's big.
That's doing well. But ideally, I'd like to open 2 more academies and just help grow the level of jiu-jitsu, because I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for a lot of my students.
Yeah.
And a lot of, families could definitely benefit from doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Just from the exercise, right? Kids aren't going outside anymore, right? They're staying on their tablets. the social aspect of it, of talking to students and talking to like each other, right? Kids are playing on their iPhones, watching video games of other kids playing, right? So like there's for hours. So that interaction with humans is so important, so that is what I really want to focus on, building that community.
So how do you have time for anything else outside of business?
I don't.
I always talk about work-life balance at some point in these. You want to, is that you? No, you're good. So how do you have work-life balance? Do you want anything different? Are you happy with the way things are?
I don't know if, it's a tough question, right? I do want a work-life balance, but in reality, like that's just like a marketing scheme for people that just want mediocrity.
Yeah, okay.
That's at least that's how I kind of look at life, right?
Well, and if you love what you're doing, then there's not as much of a need for work-life balance.
Yeah, so I love what I do. Like I go to soccer games. Like my kids will tell, hey, professor, I have a soccer game on Saturday at 3 p.m. Can you come? I'm there. Basketball games, football games.
Yeah.
I do things almost every single weekend for one of my kids.
That's cool.
Because I want my kids to know that I love them.
Yeah.
For them, not because they do jiu-jitsu.
Not because they're a client.
Right. So jiu-jitsu is what kind of bonded us to get to know each other. But I want them to succeed in all aspects. I go to plays, swimming meets, you name it, I do. So work-life balance for me doesn't exist because you're going to either suffer on one or the other.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but there's a lot of mentorship. Obviously, you're not just training people; you're mentoring them in the rest of their life.
Correct.
If they want it, of course.
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty rewarding.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's super rewarding. I don't have time, right, for anything else.
Yeah.
With my 3 businesses, but somehow I always find time.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we were talking about so May. I'm doing a 48-hour challenge.
Yeah. Let's get into that.
So the past 3 years or past 3 years, I've done an endurance challenge for jiu-jitsu, and usually it's for a military cause. So not usually, it is always for a military cause. For the first year, I did 24 hours of training jiu-jitsu, 10-minute round, 1 minute off for 24 hours. That was hard.
How is that possible?
It was hard. I didn't have the right fuel.
What would that take? Just tons of gel packs?
Yeah. Even that, I'd had Gatorade and banana, but that was about it. Right. So I didn't really prepare. And that's usually like let's do it. And then someone's like, what about these sets? I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out on the way. Yeah. Last year I wanted to break the world record. The world record was 30 hours of continuous jiu-jitsu training. So we did it with 35 hours. So, that was a lot easier.
Really?
It was so much easier because
the same thing, 10 minutes and 1 minute?
Okay. 10 minute, 1 minute. And the reason it was easier is we had Jocko Fuel as our main sponsor.
Oh, cool.
And man, that helps so much. If anybody's ever not used Jocko Fuel for like endurance, amazing.
Is it just like a protein powder sort
of thing? Protein powder, shakes, and electrolytes and things like that. Yeah. But a lot of the Navy SEALs use it.
Okay.
So that really helped. It's funny, one of the moms that's so her husband and her daughter train with me. She's a nurse, and she like did my vitals afterwards. She's like,
"You're not even dehydrated."
she's like, dude, it doesn't even look like you were doing anything.
Wow.
So it was kind of cool.
And you felt a lot better.
And I felt awesome.
Yeah.
I crashed right away, but I felt amazing.
Yeah.
And then, so this year we are doing 48 hours.
So are you sparring in that time? Yep. The whole time?
The whole time.
Oh, man.
So each one of my students or anybody will basically take a 30-minute slot, and they sign up for a 30-minute slot, and then 10-minute, 1 minute off, 10-minute, 1 minute off for three reps.
Wow.
And I'll just keep doing that. So I think this year is 96.
Do you kind of get into a flow state at some parts of it?
So it's funny.
I don't mean that flowing, like rolling.
So it's funny because some students understand like, oh, this is a charity event. Like he's got to go a long time.
Yeah.
And then some students didn't get that memo, right? They try to come after me. And I'm like,
Come on, guys. I'm trying to beat a record here.
Well, not just that, but I'm like, do you know I'm going to remember this? Because I'm going to be sore for a couple of days, but when I'm not sore, I'm going to come after you.
Yeah.
Right? But actually, I love those because I had a couple guys that come in like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like going full force.
Yeah.
But because you're starting to get tired at that time, like it kind of wakes you up.
Okay.
Right? The hardest ones were like my 3 and 4 year olds.
Really?
The hardest rolls. Because like they don't have enough energy output.
Oh, so you're having to.
So at like hour like 30, right? I'm trying to get them to put output on energy so I can wake up my brain.
Oh yeah.
Right. So those were the hardest rolls.
Yeah. So you're trying to get the Guinness Book of World Records for it?
So technically I got not a Guinness World Record. But the one that was...
You just had to have a person there.
We had the person there.
Guinness, yeah.
So we tried to do it this year, but they wanted like $25,000. And I was
geez.
like, I can't. I mean, all the money that we're probably going to get about $20,000 for veteran groups.
Right.
This year.
Yeah.
We're giving away a free motorcycle to a wounded warrior.
Oh, awesome.
We're going to do a lot of really cool things. So for those that are out here, we're going to have a bounce house.
Oh, cool.
On the 23rd. From 12 to 3, all kids are welcome.
Is that the Saturday of Memorial?
Yep, the Saturday of Memorial Day. We're going to have a rock climbing wall outside. We're going to have taco stands outside.
And you'll just be rolling away.
Everyone else will be having fun. I'll be training.
That's awesome, though. Like, I mean, even to be able to stay awake 24 hours is hard enough alone, but actually, exercising the whole time has got to be crazy.
Well, it's funny. So this past weekend, one of my students, I go to a lot of events for students. And one of their spouse was like, they ran 100-miler this past weekend.
Wow.
And I thought that was nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do 48 hours like and be okay, but running 100 miles, for me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I can't do that.
They did it in 22 hours.
Wow.
Right? Which is still pretty darn fast.
That's very fast.
So, but, crazy me, I'm like, okay. So then I woke up, I got home like around 6:30 in the morning after they finished. And then I was like looking up on my phone, like, okay, when's the next one? Do I do this?
You got to do a marathon first.
I did. I've done a couple marathons.
Okay, right. I mean, supposedly it's not as hard if you can, but do you train running at all?
No, that's what I'm saying.
You have to get back into it.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but just even for my marathons for the I did the Marine Corps marathon the last 2 years, and I think I was like 4 hours and like 20 minutes. I was trying to get under 4, but I also didn't even train. So
yeah, I couldn't do that. You see, the guy ran in 2 hours.
Dude, so 2 of them.
2 of them.
Yeah, 2 guys ran under 2 hours.
That's crazy.
And then one guy ran like at 2:02. So the top 3 guys were like right there.
People used to think it's just not even possible, and now 3
crazy.
people do it in 1 year. That's crazy. Well, kind of wrapping up here. So let's do like a little fun little lightning round.
Sure.
Gi or no gi?
So I think if you're an older guy or girl, the gi is always going to be important, right? Because it kind of slows the younger guys and girls down.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's a way to kind of.
Is it more real life scenario too?
For me, it is. I mean, I always tell people they're like, oh, but the gis, you're never going to be in a jacket and pant. But I'm like, dude, if
most people you could do something with this. Yeah.
Well, not just that, but I always tell people like, if you're fighting someone that's naked, just walk away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to fight that person.
Yeah.
Right. So, but for me, I love the gi. Right. I think the gis, people are going to say that, oh, the gi's dying. It's not relevant anymore. We have a tournament every year. It's the Masters Worlds. It's all the old guys that train. All right. It's an international tournament in Vegas. The Kids Con, we have like 4 tournaments in one. There's like 16,000 people that weekend competing in jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
The gi's going to stay here forever.
Yeah.
The no-gi is like a newer thing. Right. But what I do love about the no-gi is like if you really want to scrap.
Yeah.
That's where the no-gi is fun. So I do like both, but if I had to pick one that I can only do, it would be gi.
Okay, cool. So what's your favorite submission?
So I'm a huge wrist locker.
Okay.
So I go for the wrists because most big guys, if you try to armbar them, right, they can literally just curl you. But everyone's wrists are fragile, just as weak.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen that in the UFC.
Yeah.
Wrist locks. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
What's like the most humbling moment you've ever had on the mats? Just getting choked out a bunch when you started?
It's funny because when I started, I was a young guy just out of the military. So I was strong. I knew enough jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. But man, these guys and girls would just beat me over and over and over. And they'd be like, dude, you're doing so good. I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, what do you mean I'm doing so good? And one really humbling time, there's this female jiu-jitsu fighter. Her name is Professor Fabiana, an amazing person. She's actually, I think she's the first woman to ever open a jiu-jitsu school without a black belt, male. So it's like, most jiu-jitsu schools are owned by men.
Yeah.
She's the first, I think she's the first woman to open a school without a male partner. Yeah. She was the main person, right? And it's cool because now she's got like 4 schools. Right? Oh, nice. And she's so successful, from Brazil. She comes from the slum of Brazil in Rio de Janeiro. And I remember I was a blue belt and she was a black belt. She was a brand new black belt, I believe. Smaller than me, maybe 120 pounds. She beat me over and over and over. And I was like, and every time I went harder, she beat me faster.
Really?
And that was so humbling to know, like, there's nothing I can do against this woman. So once I received my black belt and she came out here, we started fighting and training together. So it's obviously changed because I have my skills now as well. Yeah. So I'm like, not anymore, professor, not anymore.
So what's like one word you could describe for jiu-jitsu?
So it's not going to be one word. It's going to be one phrase.
Okay.
Right? Jiu-jitsu for everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
That is our motto for Gracie Barra.
Yeah. If you could roll with anyone, past or present, who would it be?
Past or present? These questions are always interesting because I've trained with so many like elite fighters and trainers and jiu-jitsu athletes that when you're training with them, you don't think about it because that's just your daily life, right? So my professor, he's phenomenal. He's so good. I've trained with Frankie Edgar before.
Oh, nice.
Right? So I've trained with a lot of really cool guys. I've trained with Master Carlos Gracie Jr.'s son, Kyron Gracie, Otavio Souza. There's Romo Bahal, these big names in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So because I've trained with them, but I didn't think it was special because that's what your daily life was.
Right.
So now when I've moved away from all these guys, I'm like, man, I used to train with some killers.
Yeah.
So I don't think like a specific person per se because I've trained with so many people that most people would love to be able to train with them. So,
yeah. So you've already done it.
I've already done it, right? But I always love to train with my professor Flavio.
Yeah, awesome.
It's it brings me back to my roots, and I forget like there's levels.
Yeah,
because he beats me up like I'm a 4-year-old kid.
How much older is he than you?
Not that much.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 4 years
Just
older than me.
Started when he was younger.
Yeah, started when he was in middle school.
Yeah, that's. I wish I would have done that.
Me too.
So, do you have any advice for people my age thinking about it?
Yeah, just go.
Just go.
Just go. I there's a couple guys that I train with consistently, and it's one guy that started training with me, he's lost like 50 pounds.
Wow.
Right. He doesn't drink anymore. Right. Because he's like, if I used to go train and then drink and then feel horrible the next day.
Yeah.
And now he's, just his confidence, his body's just like changed dramatically. Don't think about winning, think about learning.
Yeah.
Right. The wins will come in the future. Think about learning and just be present.
Thinking about my knees not getting blown out. There's so many potential injuries. Like, have you had anything significant?
No. I mean, I've had back surgery, but that's part of the military. That's just getting old. If you find in our school, if you find a really good school, like there's not a lot of people getting hurt.
Yeah.
Right. So
everyone has respect for each other.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have people that work in 3-letter agencies at our school. Like they can't be going home with black eyes.
Right.
and then having board meetings the next day with a broken arm.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone's there to help each other grow. That's it.
Right. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming. Is there anything else you want to mention before we?
No, this was awesome. I appreciate you. Yeah. And you know, I love talking about my experiences.
Yeah. It's awesome to get to know you better.
Especially coming from like my immigrant background and to like what I am today.
Yeah.
And also how much more I have to grow.
Right.
Right. So it's just a everyday, evolving every single day. And, you know, I'm so blessed to be living in this county.
Yeah.
I love the people I've met here. I'm so blessed to live in the United States and I love our military. Right. So I do everything I can for our military. And, if everybody ever wants to come out and train with me, just hit me up on social media.
Yeah.
GB Ashburn, GB Leesburg, and love to have you guys come out and train and just have fun and just also come out and train during the 48-hour rule.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks, brother. Thanks
I appreciate
for
it. Thank you so much.